Hello and welcome to another video here at Hobbies and Happiness. My name's Dan.
And I'm Jim. Today we have some more cards.
All right, like Jim said, we've got more cards to talk about. So these past couple days was the GAMA Expo. GAMA, I had to look it up because I didn't know what it was. I couldn't remember. It's the game, I have it right here. See, I can't even remember. The Game Manufacturers Association. Jim, what did you just say? Or we're what now? What are we? Are we professionals?
We're professionals.
Yeah, so GAMA is the Game Manufacturers Association. These past couple days were the expo where a lot of people around the country, around the world, stopped by and found out, a lot of new games that were coming to store shelves here pretty soon within the next year or so. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the new cards that we saw from Lorcana. Now, before we do that, we've got a little bit of news that we want to touch on. There was I shouldn't say a lot of news, but there was news. So we've got a couple things that I want to point out. However, I have to first shout out our agents on the ground. We had Jared with Citizens of Lorcana, Liam with the Musketeers, and Dan Regal. So thanks to those guys. Go check out their Twitters in the description. If you want to find out everything that they saw, they posted a lot of images and information from the show floor. So definitely go check them all out on Twitter. And then also, again, thanks to Artem with Lorcana for the card images. Now, so here's the quick recap. The first thing we saw the foils. So they're going to be using cold foils. If you've never seen cold foil cards, Jim, you've seen cold foils versus regular foils. Now, I know Jim does not prefer foils, but what's your opinion on cold foils, Jim?
They can definitely be very pretty.
Yeah.
Depending on how they have the cards set up,
True.
they can look gorgeous.
True. And we did see some of the cold foils. Again, this was over on Liam's channel, the Musketeers. So if you go check that out, you can check out what those foils look like. And then we also got news on set releases. The first two sets of the game are basically going to be intro sets, kind of setting up the world and the story of Lorcana. And then, quote, then the story takes off. So, if you've never been involved in a major, well, actually, maybe not even a major, but a TCG, what many of them like to do is follow a certain storyline. Sometimes it's from set to set, or sometimes it's just within a set itself. And so it looks like they're really kind of leaning into this for Lorcana. It's something that interests me because, again, as a Disney kid myself, I'm kind of excited for that. I mean, Jim, what's your opinion on the story within a large TCG like this? Does it something that interests you?
I've been playing Magic for 8 years now. I don't even know how long it's been.
Yep.
And the only thing I can tell you is Nicol Bolas bad guy, and they got him.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that in these TCGs, and that's totally fine. And normally that's kind of how I am, but I feel like Lorcana might be the one game where I kind of try to follow it a little bit, and we'll see if I get hooked. We'll see if it interests me. Honestly, time's gonna tell. I mean, I'm in it more for the game, the gameplay mechanics. And so we'll see if I get pulled into the story in the world of Lorcana. Next piece of news is we found out all the OP, the organized play, is being handled in-house. I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, Ryan and Steve have a lot of experience between the two of them. So I'm pretty sure that's all going to be fine. But again, time will tell. Again, OP is going to be what it is. I think for a lot of these games, it's the communities that are really going to make even the competitive scenes stand out. Because again, if you look at a game like Magic, yes, there is professional or the in-house organized play from Wizards, but then you have a lot of these other organizations that run organized play events too. I mean, Jim, what do you think for something like that? I mean, especially for a game like this, you think there's going to be plenty of organizations that step up and have maybe even circuits if the game could potentially support it?
I think the potential of this game being so big, I think there has to be a good amount of people that are going to do it. Because it's not very often we get a brand new huge game, right?
Right.
And this, we don't know this could be the next big game. It might also not be. It is very early, but I do think a lot of people will take that chance with it being a Disney product.
Right.
So, I could definitely see a lot of companies trying to pick it up.
Right. And I mean the opportunity is going to be there, and I feel like especially at the beginning, there's going to be a lot of people that are looking to pounce, to jump on it, and provide those sorts of opportunities for players. The next thing they did touch on in the they did have a short talk was street dates. They're hoping stores like Target are going to honor the street dates because, again, if you will recall, they are releasing these sets 2 weeks prior in local game stores. So local game stores will get a 2-week head start on big box retailers. And there was a specific question asked about Target and Keyforge because there was a big debacle with them releasing Keyforge early. They broke street dates. And basically, Lorcana basically said, we hope that stores like Target will honor the release dates. Yeah, those street dates are going to be broken. They can have all the intentions, all the correct intentions, and all the best intentions in the world, but if you've ever worked in big box retail, those street dates will get broken, and not necessarily on purpose either. There's product there. It's going to it is bound to happen, especially if you're releasing 4 sets a year. It is going to happen. It is bound to happen. Now
I know again, I've messed it up.
Same. Like, I've worked in retail. I've worked in big box retail too. If it's something I'm not familiar with, then I'm not going to know. Like, I worked in electronics sections, and so there were street dates for games because I was in the space. I kind of knew it, but if I wasn't, I would have had no clue, would have had no idea. And it would have been very easy to, this just goes out. So it's bound to happen, but again, time will tell. The last thing that was announced, and I know this is to the chagrin of people like Jim, no reserve list. They've announced that they're not going to have reserve lists, and they will reprint cards at will if needed for the game. So, Jim, what does that kind of news mean to somebody like you?
Well, Dan, honestly, it hurts me. I love my secondary market a lot. I love cards that have high values, especially if I own those cards. That'd be great. But I also know that it's not just about money for a secondary market.
Right.
It is about getting cards to the players so that way they can play the game. I understand that. And I can see why they would do it, but it just hurts me. The other part of my brain in these card game space, it is a little rough. Right. So it wasn't surprising when they announced that. But again, I know there's a lot of people in the TCG world and TCG space who don't really like to hear stuff like that because again they are in it to make money essentially. And we've talked at length about secondary markets and these sorts of topics. So if you want, you can be sure to check out our episode where we talked all about secondary markets in these TCGs. So all right, well with that, we are going to get on to the cards. All right. First up, we have kind of one of my favorites from this set here, and it is Ariel on Human Legs. Ariel is a 4-cost 3/4/2 inkable storyborn hero princess with the ability Voiceless. This character cannot exert to sing songs. Flavor win. Jim, what do you think of Ariel here? This card is worse than a vanilla. I never thought you could be worse than a vanilla.
You're actually not wrong. And for what it's worth, Ariel is an uncommon. So she does have a card rarity. She is uncommon. But that's an interesting point. Why do you say she's worse than a vanilla?
Vanilla can be tapped to sing a song, man.
Yep.
Like this can't even be tapped.
Yep.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's when she can't talk. I get it.
Yes.
It's cool, super flavorful.
Yes.
Don't ever want to play it.
Now her stat line does kind of make it up, okay? When she does exert for the 2 lore, she can quest for 2 lore. So that does slightly make it up, but the fact
Not
that
enough,
you can't
man.
Well, again, I feel like I've said this too much. Well, No, I haven't said this too much, but time will tell. Because again, we don't have the entire card pool. We don't have all the cards yet. But the fact that you cannot use this character to sing a song, we're gonna see what other Ariel cards we have. Okay, because if we have a pretty powerful Ariel with Shift, a Floodborn Ariel with Shift, who knows? Maybe then this Ariel will be worth playing. But again, once we get all the cards, then time's gonna tell. I think this card may, again, potential if, I think Ariel on Human Legs does have potential if we get a powerful Floodborn Ariel. That's what I think. Next up is another Amber card. It is Maximus, Relentless Pursuer. Maximus is a 3-cost, 3/3/1 Dreamborn ally in Amber with the ability Horse Kick. When you play this character, chosen character gets -2 strength this turn. Jim, what do you think about Maximus here?
You know, there's a little bit of flavor here that I don't think people are paying attention to.
Okay.
Stay golden, pony boy. Yeah.
Because that was intended, absolutely.
Definitely wasn't.
Yeah, right.
It's just something I noticed.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, ETB lower something's power by 2. I like the stat line, the 3/3/1 for 3. It's on par. Well, I guess we don't really know it's on par, right?
Yeah. So far with my X2, you're paying 3. You expect to get X2 or somewhere close to it. You're just above that. So we are just above that X2. Is that good? Is that not good? I don't know if that's correct, but that's kind of where at least we stand with Maximus, at least.
Yeah. Still, I think it's just an okay card. And again, with that ability to subtract the strength of a card, we don't know how key that's going to be yet.
Right.
So, yeah, it is a little bit early to say.
Right. What's interesting too is to look at effects like that. Additionally, with effects like Challenger, because again, when you're challenging, that Challenger only comes into play when you have a character and you are on the offensive. It's your turn. You're the active player. If your cards have Challenger, then that ability goes into effect. But if your opponent is on defense, they don't get the Challenger essentially. So that's just something to keep in mind, and that'll come into play here in a second. But that's Maximus, and Maximus is also an uncommon rarity card. All right, the last Amber card we have to talk about is Be Our Guest. Be our guest, be our guest, put our serves to the test. All right. I can't help it. I literally can't help it. And that's the point, isn't it? That is the point. How dare you?
Yep. They want us to disrespect our opponent when we play these cards.
Really? Anyway, it's Be Our Guest. So Be Our Guest is a 2-cost inkable action in Amber with the effect. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So Be Our Guest is an uncommon rarity action for 2. So Jim, what do you think about Be Our Guest?
This card's good, Bob.
Yeah.
This card's real good.
Yeah.
Sign me up. If I'm playing Amber, this is going in it. For some reason, if I never want to use it for the effect, throw it in the back row for mana. I mean ink. And, continue about your day. But this card is top notch. Yeah. You're going to play it in every Amber deck you're playing. You're going to play this card.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the low cost of 2, I mean, you can either play this for free. You can cast this for free because it is a song. So all you need is a character with the low cost of 2. All you need is a character that costs 2 or more to be able to exert it, to sing the song for free. It's a cantrip, potential cantrip, okay, to replaces itself in your hand, but you're able to look at the top 4. So looking at the top 4 cards, you're digging pretty deep. I mean, that's pretty good. The ability to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, that is an effect that cannot be overstated. I mean, especially when you're in top deck mode, and from everything that I've been hearing so far, games have come down to a lot of top decks. And so when you're in that, when you have 0 to 1, maybe 1 card in hand, you need to find an answer, and Be Our Guest could be that answer for you. Because if you're looking for your maybe Corella or Maleficent dragon, being able to banish another character, I mean, Be Our Guest can be huge for that. So that is Be Our Guest. All right, next we are going over the Amethyst cards that we got, and we got quite a few. So the first one we're gonna talk about is Jafar, Wicked Sorcerer. Jafar is a 4-cost, 2/5/1 Inkable Dreamborn Villain Sorcerer with the ability Challenger +3. So that Challenger +3 is pretty good. So Jim, what do you think of Jafar?
Yeah, to be able to swing for 5 damage, 4 mana, and also have 5 toughness, it's pretty good. Yeah. Sure, it doesn't get you a lot of lore counters, but the fact you're going to be using this to be blowing up your opponent's creatures, and he does a really good job at that, being very efficient. So the only thing is, when they attack him, he's only dealing the 2 damage.
Right.
But it's all right. It's all right.
Right. I think you're going to want to give this Jafar Rush. Like, you're going to want to go on the offensive immediately as soon as you can with Jafar. Don't give your opponent that option to maybe tap him down with a card like, I don't know, Elsa, and then attack into him. Because again, like, let's look at the stats. 4 cost, you're getting 2/5/1. So you're getting 8. So you are getting that X2. But for the being able to get +3 strength on top of that, I mean, it's a 5/5. So you're getting 11 total stats. But again, with a card like Jafar, I don't think you're really looking at the lore here. It's just that's kind of a nice side benefit. That's just an added bonus. So he's got a pretty big body. He has the potential to be a big offensive body for you. So I kind of like the Challenger. I really like the Challenger 3 on this. And again, I got to do a better job at getting the rarities into when I'm going over the card. So Jafar is a common, which again, I don't know what these rarities are supposed to mean, because for a common, this seems like it's a pretty, Jim, this seems like a pretty powerful common to me in my experience in TCGs. What do you think about the rarity here?
A wise man once said, the rarities are made up and the stats don't matter.
You're not wrong. And that's what it seems like. So anyway, that's what we got for Jafar, Wicked Sorcerer. All right, the next card that we got is a beauty here. It is Maleficent Sorcerer. So Maleficent is a 3-cost, 2/2/1 Inkable Storyborn Villain Sorcerer in Amethyst with the ability Cast My Spell. When you play this character, you may draw a card. So Jim, what do you think of Maleficent Sorceress here?
I love the effect to be able to draw you a card, and it is also a May, which is even better. Technically, It doesn't force you to deck yourself out.
Correct.
For 3 cost, it is a little bit expensive, but you still get that 2/2 creature out on the board, and it replaces itself. So, I mean, in other card games, you tend to look at it's either 1 mana or 2 mana to be able to draw a card. Even if you subtract the 1, you're looking at a 2/2/1 for 2. This is still a decent card. I think. I think you could definitely see play of this in an Amethyst list.
Right. And the other thing too, again, me looking at the stats, right? We're putting 3 into it. I'm expecting X2. So I'm expecting 6 total stat lines, but we only get 5. You get 2/2 and then the 1. But you're drawing a card, so you're making up for that lack of stats that's still at this point in my mind made up, because I don't know if it's correct. I do think that's kind of going to be close to what we're going to expect. Okay. So if we go off of that logic, okay, we're being able to draw cards or place Maleficent in our hand just for that 1 loss in total stats. I'm there for it. I mean, sign me up. Sign me up. I do think that's worth it. But again, time will tell. But I do think this card, just for the fact alone that we're able to replace it in hand, is going to see some play. So that is Maleficent Sorceress in Amethyst. All right. The next card that we got is our first card from the franchise, Princess and the Frog. It is Dr. Facilier Charlatan. Dr. Facilier is a 2-cost, 0/4/1 Inkable Storyborn Villain Sorcerer with the ability Challenger +2. Jim, what stands out at you when you see this Dr. Facilier?
So with the Challenger 2, again, you're going to be utilizing him as an offensive pressure.
Right.
but you're only hitting for 2, and it's 2 mana. It's, I think there's better cards out there than what this card can provide. But there is one thing I just recently thought about.
Yes.
Since he is a villain, utilizing him with the Floodborn Hades.
Yeah.
If you set it up to where you have Hades out, and then you go into your next turn, drop a bunch of low cost villains, you could really burst out a lot of lore counters. So, and Amethyst, we know, also has the 1-drop Maleficent. You rock 4 of those, you rock 4 of these guys, you put in, I'm sure there's some other low drop villains in Amethyst, and then also Amber. I think you could definitely make something happen with get out Hades, get into next turn, and burst a bunch of lore counters. So
right. I also think there's a potential strategy here too this card does seem so I'm just going to leave him alone or tempting to attack into, right? Because he is a 0/4. So if you tempt your opponent to attack into him because you use Facilier to challenge one of your opponent's things, now your opponent's stuff is now tapped down, giving you a window to drop a character, give it rush, and then challenge into your opponent's creatures. So, that's another avenue that you could utilize a card like this for. Just something that, just don't worry about me. I'm a zero. You can attack right into me. It's a free attack, basically. You want to. Now their stuff's tapped down, and now you can go right in and challenge your opponent's stuff. So that's another avenue too. But I do like that Amethyst Amber path as well with that Hades as well. So that is a Dr. Facilier Charlatan. All right, the last card in Amethyst that we have is Friends on the Other Side. I can't sing this one because you got to go really, really low. I can't really do that. So anyway, it's Friends on the Other Side. Friends on the Other Side is a 3-cost inkable action in Amethyst with the ability draw 2 cards. So Jim, what do you think about Friends on the Other Side here?
Drawing cards is one of the best things you can do in a card game.
Mm-hmm. Wait, isn't this Pot of Greed, Jim? This is Pot of Greed, right?
Does Pot of Greed cost 3 mana, Dan?
I think you mean ink. It's ink.
Does Pot of Greed cost 3 ink, Dan?
No, it doesn't. Pot of Greed is a free card. You can play that card for free.
Card. Yeah. Okay. Do I have to tap down one of my creatures to cast Pot of Greed for free, Dan?
No, you don't have to do anything. No? Anything.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you don't even tap in Yu-Gi-Oh! Do I have to put one of my creatures to defense position?
No, you don't. You don't have to do literally anything else to do Pot of Greed.
So you're saying I can turn 0 Pot of Greed and have nothing else on board? This isn't Pot of Greed.
Yes.
It's correct. A good card. But it's not Pot of Greed.
All right, guys, we're memeing. We're poking. It's the same effect. You draw 2 cards, okay? Anyway.
It's still a good card.
Anyway, I interrupted. Please, Jim, continue talking about how it's a good card.
So 3 mana if you ever need to put it into the back row for any reason as ink, you definitely can. You can tap one of your creatures. You can exert one of your creatures with 3 cost or more to go ahead and draw 2 cards. Phenomenal card. The only downside is that Dr. Facilier we just talked about cannot be tapped to play this card.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Yep. You took the words right out of my mouth, Jim. That was the one thing I was going to say. But
Sorry,
we did. No, you're good. What we did talk about earlier is hopefully we see a Floodborn Dr. Facilier or another high cost Dr. Facilier that allows us to exert that card for Friends on the Other Side. That way Dr. Facilier can sing that card. Because again, it's the same with this Ariel, because we do have Part of Your World for Ariel, but this Ariel cannot sing Part of Your World. So we're going to have to see another Ariel that can sing it. And maybe we don't see it in this set. Who knows? But again, just Friends on the Other Side, good card. Again, you're playing Amethyst. If you're playing Amethyst, you're probably going to play this right now with the card pool that we have. Just sign me up for card draw, please. Thank you very much.
What if we got a Dr. Facilier that's a 7-drop that states you're allowed to play Friends from the Other Side from your graveyard?
Oh,
Think about that flavor.
Dude, that's so good. Yes.
Think about that flavor.
Something like that. Yeah, that's... I like it. I think we got to see something like that. Great idea, Jim. Sign me up. I'm there. Let's go. All right, the next card that we have is our first Emerald action, and that is the Beast is Mine. So Beast is Mine is a 3-cost inkable action, like we said, in Emerald, and it states chosen character gains Reckless during their next turn, which says they can't quest and must challenge if able. So this is a new keyword that we're seeing for the first time in Reckless. Jim, what do you think of the Beast is Mine and Reckless?
That sounds like goading to me, Dan.
Can you please tell me what goading is, Jim? I've never heard of that term before.
Oh, yeah. So it's actually this thing I just made up. It's never been in a card game at all. That is almost 30 years old. And it makes it to where it forces your opponent to attack you.
Right. And, well, attack. Not necessarily you, but attack.
My bad.
Right.
The monsters don't attack you.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it forces the opponent's creatures to attack.
Mm-hmm. So. Yep.
So cool card in general, and it stops them from questing, which can be very important.
Right. So the question that's going to come up kind of is when it comes to Reckless is just timing. Right. Yep. My assumption as to how this is going to work is if you play Beast is Mine, it goes to your opponent's turn. When they're in their, I believe it's basically their main phase. At any point during their main phase, they will have to challenge with that character. Okay. Mm-hmm. If again, the keywords being here, if able. So you can't quest with the character, but that doesn't mean you aren't able to exert the character for other things. Which again, let's go back to goading. Okay, if we go back to goading, it's the same thing, right? You can do anything you are able to do with that creature that's goaded in main phase 1 before you get to the attack phase. And then if you get to attack, character's already tapped, so I can't attack with that character. It's going to be the same thing with Reckless, right? You go to end your turn. If you go to end your turn and that character is not exerted, well, then you're going to have to challenge with that character before your turn is over. That's how I think it's going to work. We do not have a comprehensive rule set yet. However, with everything that we know about card games and looking at this, I think that's a pretty safe assumption. That being said, if you have that character that does have Reckless, you should be able to sing songs with that character. Assuming it's not Ariel, right? Ariel would be a pretty decent target, right? The hero that we saw. But that's how I think Reckless is going to work. So for 3 costs, I don't know if that's going to be good or not. But Reckless is an interesting. I think in a game like Lorcana, Reckless / goading is going to be much more of a factor, I guess, than goading is. I mean, goading really comes into play mostly when we're talking about multiplayer. So, yep. But in a game like Lorcana, I think Reckless / goading is going to come in more even in 1v1 scenarios. Would you agree, Jim?
Oh, yeah. That makes it to where they can't even quest. Even if they make it to where they don't attack you, I think the important part is the questing. So.
Right. Right. But again, in a game like this, they have to challenge. So they are now tapped down, meaning they are now vulnerable. So your opponent's characters, they cannot actively advance toward their win condition via questing. Okay, and they are now being put in a vulnerable position for you to attack directly into. So if you have a bodyguard out, for example, they have to attack into the bodyguard. Now, hopefully with that character that you made them have Reckless. But again, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting scenarios that come up. Timing is going to be critical with a card like this. So we'll see how effective a card like the Beast is Mine is going to be. The last card that we have is Mickey Mouse Musketeer. So Mickey Mouse is a 6-cost, 2/7/2 inkable Dreamborn hero Musketeer in steel and is a rare card with the ability Bodyguard. So you can, when you play Mickey, you can have him enter play exerted, and then if Mickey is exerted, your opponent's things have to challenge directly into Mickey Mouse, and he also has the ability All for One. I think this is our first Lord effect. Your other Musketeer characters get +1 strength. I don't know if we have seen any other Lord effects. Well, no, I take that back. Mulan is a Lord effect. So, Jim, what comes to mind when you see a Mickey Mouse Musketeer here?
All for One means they take everything from every person and put it to one. Correct.
That is not what that means. No.
All for one.
Okay.
Now, what does one for all mean?
I don't know, man. That's
just where saying. My brain is.
That's the saying. The saying is all for one and one for all. That's what it is.
Right.
That's all I know.
All right. Why I'm even bringing it up? There's an anime where it's like one person's ability is called all for one, and then the other one is one for all.
We're going to say one for all on another Musketeer.
One person takes the abilities of all the other people and makes him better, and the other person like raises up everyone to make them better.
I see what you're saying.
So the all for one kind of throws me off just because of that. So, but he's making everyone better. So shouldn't it be one for all?
No, here's what's going to happen. Okay. I mean, have you ever seen the Three Musketeers? Have you seen the Three Musketeers? I'm genuinely curious here. I doubt you have.
I don't think so.
That's what I thought. So that's literally the saying in the Three Musketeers.
I know it's the saying.
Yeah. So Mickey Mouse here has all for one. I think we're gonna see, because in the Three Musketeers Disney version, it's Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. They're the Three Musketeers. So I think Mickey's has this all for one ability, and I think we're gonna see the other Musketeers and Goofy and Donald, and one of them will have the ability one for all. Maybe like another Lord effect. Type thing, but that's what I think is going to happen. But I think flavorful, like with the flavor, I think they're just all going to buff each other. So they're all just going to buff each other. I don't think like they're going to boost one of them just because that wouldn't be on flavor. But I don't know. Like who knows? Time will tell.
Just have out 12 of these effects and make them all 13 sevens.
See, and that's where my disconnect. That's where my disconnect is, and I'll be fine. I'll get over it. But I'm able to have three. I'm able to have 3 Mickey Mouse Musketeers on board at one time if I want. There's no effects stopping me to do that. So
that's 3. I forgot.
What's that?
Playset is 3.
A playset is 4. I'm not even talking about the playsets. I'm just saying I'm able to have more than one Mickey Mouse Musketeer on board. That's my point.
Yeah.
Which
the multiverse.
Yeah, right. That's where my disconnect is. But that's what the rules of the game are. So you can do that. You are able to do that. And so if you do that, you can buff your Musketeers up pretty big. So that's another thing that I honestly didn't think of, is having multiple Mickey Mouse Musketeers on board. So that's a thing too. But right now, Mickey Mouse Musketeer is the only Musketeer character that we've seen thus far. But again, if I'm a betting man, we are going to see Mickey and Goofy Musketeer versions of those characters. So I mean, I like it. I like the bodyguard. I like the fact that it has bodyguard with the big butt. Now, all for one, it does say your other Musketeer character, so it doesn't buff himself, just your others. But yeah, I mean, do you like this card, Jim? Just in general?
Yeah, in general, I like it. Off chance you're able to have 4 of these out on the field, each and every single one of them is a 5/7. Before we know what the other cards are, which isn't terrible, especially when they have bodyguard. You just bring them in. Now you got this really big boy protecting your other stuff, and then you can go ahead and tap your guys down for lore counters as well.
Yeah, you got a big wall. You've got a pretty big wall of stuff. Now, I mean, they cost 6, so I mean that's a lot of resources. but still, like the potential is there. So that is Mickey Mouse Musketeer. All right, and that's it. That's all we got for you today. I know we're kind of a little bit late, but I saw these cards on late Monday night, and I was thinking to myself, do I stay up and record this video? Nah, we'll just wait, because it was late, and I knew we had more days of GAMA to come. So I'm just like, we'll just wait, and we'll just do one video kind of recapping all the cards that we've seen thus far. And so I think that was the right call. Jim, you agree, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, that's what we got. But with that, we're gonna kick it to you. What do you guys think? Which card do you like? Do you like Be Our Guest, Mickey Mouse? Do you like Friends on the Other Side? Which one is your favorite? Don't forget, let us know down below. And again, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified whenever we release a new video. And you know, we've been doing quite a lot of Lorcana videos. We've got some other Lorcana videos in the pipeline that are gonna be coming out over the course of the next few days. So be sure, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so you can be notified when we release a new video. And that's all we got for today. So thanks everybody for being here. We'll catch you in the next video. See you, everybody.
Take care.